Washington Redskins offensive line is one of football's best, but today their reputation will be challenged by Lawrence Taylor and a fired-up New York defense. The Giants are confidently riding the crest of a 6-game winning streak. And with the right calls from Phil Simms, they hope to roll a 7 today. The Giants also face some stiff challenges today. First, their defense must contain Washington's fleet receivers, like Gary Clark. And their unheralded pass blockers will have to contend with Dexter Manley, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Manley relishes the spotlight, and today it shines brightly in the season's biggest game. Joe Morris ran the Giants to victory in their first meeting, but today's rematch is at RFK Stadium, where the Skins are hard to beat and where tickets are impossible to find. Sports presents the National Football League. Today it's the New York Giants against the Redskins of Washington, live from RFK Stadium, sold out for the 157th consecutive time. And believe me, there is no place to play, no more enthusiastic setup than RFK. Here's how Dexter Manley welcomed his teammates onto the field. Standings in the NFC's Eastern Division. The Giants and the Redskins both at 11-2. This amounts to a championship game because in all likelihood, whoever wins today will win the Eastern Championship. It's the Giants and the Redskins, and here is how close they are. Points scored, points allowed, the net down at the bottom. The Giants 5.7, the Redskins 5.8, a difference of 1/10 of 1 point. Talk about your matchups. Good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall. In addition to all that buildup and all those things we talked about, other elements that make this a big game, we have the top 2 punters. We have the top 2 quarterbacks in terms of yardage gained in the NFC. We have 2 of the top running backs. It has everything. It is indeed a big game, one that builds up and leads up to the playoffs. With me, of course, is John Madden. And John, with these 2 teams so evenly matched, so closely knit, so much at stake, first of all, let's talk about the Redskins and how they approach this game.
Well, you know, it's interesting when we're talking about Joe Gibbs. You know, we're talking to him yesterday and watching the Redskins practice. They are about as fired up as a football team can be. And Joe Gibbs was just talking about the run, though. He said, you know what we have to do? He said, if we're going to win, he said, we have to be able to run. The last time they played, they lost to the Giants. They only rushed for 32 yards. But Joe Morris also rushed against them for 181 yards. He said we can't allow him to do that today.
And the Redskins, of course, have had great success here at home. And as a matter of fact, this series in recent years particularly has been a home-and-home series. How about Joe Gibbs and his Redskins?
Well, you know, the Giants, you know, and Bill Parcells, what he was talking about is saying that even though we were able to run against them last time, he said what I think we have to do, and I've never heard Bill Parcells talk like this, he said, but we have to go bombs away. He said we have to attack them, and we have to attack them deep. Now, I know that he still thinks he has to run on because you can't get away from the run. You can't let Dexter Manley just come free on your quarterback. You have to run enough to keep him honest, but Parcells and the Giants want to throw deep today.
And Parcells and the Giants will have their chance first as the Redskins will kick off. Deep for the Giants, Phil McConkey and Solomon Miller. Steve Cox will kick it off for the Redskins. McConkey is number 80. Sellout crowd number 157 for the Redskins. Cox with a very strong leg, usually kicks it very high and very deep. This time he aims in the direction of McConkey, who handles it right at the goal line. And McConkey is hit inside the 20. Redskins special teams led by Dean Hamill. Get down in a hurry. Phil Simms, second in the NFC in yards passing, will start at quarterback. He'll face that Washington defensive line. Man, Butts and Grant inside, and Dexter Manley at right defensive end. Calvin Daniels, the Olkowitz in the middle, and Rich Malott, the linebacker. Green and Wilburn, the cornerbacks. Walton and Curtis Jordan, the safety men. Morris and Maurice Carthon, number 44, the runners. Sims going to work in a hurry. Up the middle, complete. Bavaro to the 40, to midfield. Shoves and runs over a couple of tacklers, gets down to the Redskin 41. Finally knocks him down after a gain of 41. Back when that play began, John, one of the Redskins broke clear and just ran by Sims.
Well, you know, that was the thing that the Giants wanted to start with right there. You see, it was a blitz. The middle linebacker, Okowitz, coming up there. I think they think, the Redskins think they're going to run, so they want to come out passing. And, of course, that's a great way to start a game.
That's a great way to quiet that crowd, too. Stacy Robinson split wide to the left. McConkey in motion. Sims back to throw it again. Bavaro again. Another Giant first down inside the 30. Rich Malott. Let's look at the offense. Sims, as mentioned, the quarterback, Joe Morris and Maurice Carthon. The two runners behind him, Bobby Johnson and Stacy Robinson, although McConkey was in on the last play. Up front, it's Benson, Ard, Oates, Godfrey, Carl Nelson, and Mark Bavaro. It's another 1st and 10. They're inside the Redskin 30. Tim Morrison in on defense. Again, Sims to go up top. Has a lot of time. Intended in the corner and picked off. Intended for Johnson, and Darrell Green comes down with it. Sims with a lot of time. Stacy Robinson wide to the left. Broke clear, but by that time Sims was looking to the right.
I still think that the Giants accomplished what they wanted to. They didn't run a play. The Redskins were watching for Joe Morris. They were able to pass, come out passing. This had a chance. It was just thrown short. Johnson got behind Darrell Green. Had he thrown that ball to the corner, that could have been a touchdown.
Darrell Green in the offseason, and one of those setup sprint races, turned out to win everything. He's the fastest man on record in the NFL, at least of those who participated. Ricky Sanders is split wide to the right. Schrader chased around in the end zone, fires on the bounce. Intended for Don Warren. Darrell Green over on the sideline. He had a bad shoulder. It looked like he might have landed on that shoulder after the interception. The Giant defensive line, Martin, Eric Howard starting at nose tackle, and Leonard Marshall. Linebackers, Banks, Reasons, Carson, and Lawrence Taylor. In the secondary, Elvis Patterson, Perry Williams, Hill, and Kennard. Gary Clark is wide left. Schrader back to throw again. Over the head of Art Monk.
I think it's interesting, Pat, that the Redskins, instead of starting with 2 tight ends, although Clint Didier has a broken hand, they're starting 3 wide receivers. They're starting this game playing 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. Of course, that running back was George Rogers, and now it's Kelvin Bryant for the 3rd down play.
3rd down and 10, the Redskins from their own 4. Elvis Patterson goes out with Art Monk. Patterson starting instead of Mark Collins, who has 4 broken bones in his hand. Clark goes in motion. Kennard goes with him. Schrader back to throw again. The pocket collapses. Schrader chased by Martin. Fires deep. Intended for Monk. Pass picked off. Greg Lasker, the rookie safety man, came up with the interception. And the Giants get it back.
It was almost a sack, though. They flushed Schrader out. He had to run out to the right, so he had time to do this. We'll see Lasker coming over here. So he's coming over. He's the short underneath guy. And Monk, the pass was to Monk, and Lasker intercepted it.
Back at RFK Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden. Turnovers 1 apiece so far, and we have yet to see a running play. 56 in the background. Head coach Joe Gibbs of the Redskins.
That's the interesting thing. You know, Joe Morris had such a big game last time, gaining 181 yards. Redskins says, we have to stop that. Redskins says they have to run. We've yet to have a running play.
Yeah, both coaches said we have to establish the run. We've got to be able to do that. Here comes Morris in motion. Giants back to throw again as Sims. Dumps it off to Maurice Carthon. Carthon down into Redskin territory, down at about the 43, a gain of 8. Calvin Daniels and Neil Olkowitz knock him down.
You know, against the Redskins on Monday night, the Giants had 2 touchdowns on the same type of pattern where they put like 2 or 3 guys deep, just read the weak safety and throw away from him. That was a pattern, that same pattern that time, but they threw to the short guy, Carthon.
McConkey split wide to the left. Here's the first running play. Morris breaks it to the outside. Gets close to the first down. Stopped by Curtis Jordan. He may have it. Very close.
You know, one thing that Joe Gibbs was saying that they had the problem with the last time, he said, was tackling. He said when Joe Morris would run the ball, he said we'd get one guy there. That guy just missed the tackle. He'd keep going. He said, so we have to get more than one, or when we get the one guy there, we better tackle him.
You made a very, I thought, interesting observation about that yesterday, which we'll get to in just a minute. 3rd and 1. Not quite 1. It's Morris. Right side has it. Down close to the 30. Curtis Jordan stopped him, and if he didn't, they're kicking the extra point right down. A gain of 11.
I'll tell you, they run right at that power, right behind Carl Nelson, Mark Bavaro, and Zeke Mowat. You see, they have the 2 tight ends on that side, a lead by Carthon. Bavaro and Nelson get good blocks in there, and of course, Joe Morris breaks it through. That's where they got the big run against the 49ers. Remember that 4th down run?
Yeah.
They go at midfield. Joe Morris runs it right through that same area.
Bavaro, the tight end, lined up on the right end of the line, and Sims looking in that direction. Does get rid of it, intended for Carthon finally. He almost ducked and was willing to take the sack, and then he saw something to throw it to.
I'll tell you one thing they're doing. Watch the blocking here on Dexter Manley. That's Brad Benson. He started out in a strong game, Benson has. See, Oates is helping. He has a little help there, a little holding there, but Dexter Manley hasn't got close to Phil Sims yet. And that's what they want to do, because they think if you don't let him get there early, he'll get frustrated. If he gets here early, it's bombs away.
I think they got away with a little holding, as you said, on that last play. Both of them did, in fact. Here's Morris, ducks under a tackler, and is brought down by Olkowitz at just about the line of scrimmage. Alvin Walton was coming on a blitz. Getting back to what we started to say a minute ago about the tackling, it seems, and I think you were right, in the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks in fact, we've seen some very poor tackling. Why would that be happening now?
It seems like to me when teams get eliminated and they're not going to be in it, that little level of intensity they lose is the tackling level. The championship teams still tackle well, the others don't.
Galbraith is in the backfield as Sims is sacked by Mann. That's the first one. That might have taken them out of field goal range.
That was a good, you worry about Dexter Manley, but here's Charles Mann right here. He's going to come. Nelson has to block him. Carl Nelson, he just gets a bull and then right through on him. You don't hear much about Charles Mann, but he's a pretty good pass rusher too. See, he just bull rushes him right through him, and there's Sims. Hey, when Nelson gets back and you get that first pop, boom, you got to stand him up. You can't let him push you back.
Landetta aims for out of bounds. Ken Jenkins was the man back deep. Ball bounces toward the end zone. The Giants let it roll, and they down it inside the Redskin 5. Perry Williams. A punt of 33 yards. That's not impressive, but where it stopped is impressive. The Redskins, for the second consecutive time, start from deep in their land. The Giants nothing, the Redskins nothing. 9:39 left to play. Wayne Brian Severe, that's left to play in the first quarter, out talking to the back judge. Red Cashin is the referee. I don't know what Wayne is so upset about. That's Paul Betts he's talking to.
Well, Wayne's a special teams coach, and it has to be something that happened on that punt play.
George Rogers is back in the game behind Schrader. He appears to be calling an audible. And is back to throw. Outside Sanders. A little breathing room. A gain of just about 9. Greg Lasker up to make the stop. Kenny Hill was there as well.
I think you were right, Pat. It was an audible. They saw, again, they're playing 3 wide receivers. They saw Ricky Sanders was out here in the left. The defensive guy was playing off him, so he audibleized to that little quick in front of him.
2nd and 1. Watch for Rogers with the Redskins' first run. Not yet. Clark in front of Perry Williams and a Redskin first down. That looked like an audible, too.
I tell you, that's one thing you don't do too many times, though. They throw it quick out here in this left side to Ricky Sanders. Then they come back and they throw it to Gary Clark. Now watch Perry Williams, number 23, the defensive back. He's getting closer and closer. He hit about the same time the ball arrived. They try that again, and that could be going in the end zone.
Well, they could be also setting up a little deep one.
That would be the better idea.
First down, Redskins. They're at their own 19, and here's Rogers. A gaping hole over the left side. I think the hole was so big it surprised him.
Yeah, he started dancing. He didn't know what to do. You know, George Rogers has a bad shoulder. He missed last week's game. Watch what happened. Leonard Marshall, see his head there? He's talking to Lawrence Taylor. Now he's going to wide. He moves Taylor out. Now he says, no, you're not. I'll go in. You stay out. Now what happens? He gets in. They turn him in, turn Taylor out, and look at that hole there. Big old tackles could run in there.
Rogers was shocked. He didn't know where to go. 2nd and 4.
By the offense, still 2nd down.
Schrader took a little too long. Red Cashin, as I said, the referee.
Again, I think that was an audible, Pat. I think he was trying to get into an audible. Usually when you hear Jay Schrader say yellow, that's a dummy audible. That means that they're going to run the play call. If he says anything else, it's usually going to be an audible.
Any other color.
Any other color.
2nd down. Clark is wide to the left. Here's Schrader back to throw. Lawrence Taylor on a blitz. Ball is loose, and Rogers has it. Or had it. Carson's over to make sure that Rogers stayed down.
There's Lawrence Taylor. Watch him come by Joe Jacoby, 66. Jacoby's going to set up to block him. Taylor just gives him a hit, dips that left shoulder, boom, right around him, and hits Schrader in the back. I tell you, here's a guy that can dominate a game. He doesn't do it every game. He's had some injuries, but I'll tell you, when he's ready to play, look out.
Quarterback sacks in the NFL. The leaders are both in this game. One just got one to tie the leader. Schrader flushed out of the pocket again, looking for some place to throw it, and he found a green spot. Don Warren was the closest Redskin. Andy Hedden led the pressure on Schrader, and they've done a good job rushing the passer. Hedden looks like he might have stung his shoulder a little bit. He was signaling for help from the bench. That looks like one of those that numbs the whole right side and then goes away pretty soon.
I'll tell you, he's upset about it. This is the type of game that you don't want to miss a play in.
Looking better already. Steve Cox back to kick. Doesn't get all of it. McConkey lets it bounce. It takes a giant roll. And the Redskins down at their own 47-yard line. Todd Bowles. Only a 30-yard punt by Steve Cox. 6:11 left first quarter. 0-0. The playoff picture, the division leaders, of course, playing here at RFK today. The Giants and Redskins both at 11-2. Both are in the playoffs. So are the Bears. They've clinched the championship. They're the best of the rest. The Rams lead the West. 49ers, Dallas, and Minnesota. There are other possibilities. Too complicated at the moment to get into. But as the afternoon progresses, some of those things should clarify. Mowat was the man in motion, and Morris runs to his left. Is really met by Dexter Manley. A gain of 1.
Hey, that's what you have to do. You know, everyone wants to run at Dexter Manley. And, of course, watch him. He plays a double team. There's Bavaro and Benson. He gets off Bavaro, squares up, boom. Right there for a loss. I'll tell you, that's how to play the run. That's how to play a double team.
There's a guy who's really worked on how to play the run.
Well, one time he was just a pass rusher. Now he's more interested in stopping the run.
2nd down, 9. Sims back to throw. Look out, Manley's coming. Manley hit Sims just as he let it go.
I'll tell you, Phil Sims is looking at him. He's lucky he got up after that one. Watch him here. Pretty good pass protection. Watch him. He's going to come in from the backside and get him in the back and the knees.
Ooh.
Look, the knees and the back don't bend that way.
Bears leading 7-0. Green Bay leading Minnesota 3-0. Pittsburgh over Detroit. 3rd and 9, and Galbraith into the game. Sims having trouble hearing or being heard. Now backs out of the shotgun. Into the shotgun. McConkey is the move man. Redskins on a blitz. Incomplete. Intended for Bobby Johnson. The Giants will have to punt. Tell you, the Giants had a couple of chances and got nothing out of it. And you can sort of feel things turning around now.
You sure can, because when you get those chances in a big game, you have to have some points on the board. And they've had their shot, and they still have 0. Now you can feel that the Redskins momentum is starting to come.
Landetta back, standing at his own 40. Jenkins at the 10 for the Redskins. Gonna watch it soar over his head. No, now he makes the catch. Did not signal for a fair catch. Pepper Johnson, number 52, the first man down for the Giants. 34-yard punt, 2-yard return, so they net 32. First quarter has been pretty much a standoff with 5:16 left to play. It's a 0-0 score. Just look at where the Giants have started in their 3 possessions. They average their own 40. Look where the Redskins have had to come from. In their 3 possessions, they average their own 7, and they're back there again.
Maybe the word shouldn't be momentum. Maybe it should be average where you start possession.
And how far you got to go.
Maybe that means momentum.
Schrader quickly this time behind Art Monk. There's the Giants' new nose tackle, Eric Howard, just activated. Jim Pert with his bad back. And Howard is a big, strong guy who's very quick. Strongest man on the team. 2nd-round draft choice this past year. 6'3", 270 or thereabouts. Kelvin Bryant in the Redskin backfield in place of Rogers. And the right play called. And Bryant gets out to about the 24 before Harry Carsons and Kenny Hill trip him up.
They had 2nd and long, and they want to make them show that they're going to pass and then run the draw. There's Howard. We're watching him. They turn him out. He's really playing it pretty well. He just misses the tackle right there. The Giants finally get on him. Well, it's a first down for the Redskins, but that's a good time to run a draw. 2nd and long, because if you hit it, you can get a first down. If you don't, you still have 3rd down to pass it.
And they hit it. 1st and 10 Redskins. There's their own 23. Make it the 24. Just inside the 25, as a matter of fact. And here's Rogers, left side. about 3. Harry Carson's on the stop.
I think the Giants were really hurting against the run when they lost Jim Burt, because earlier they had lost Curtis McGriff at left end. So what happened to him last week is they had George Martin, who's a pass rusher, playing left end against the run, and they had Jerome Salley, who was the pass guy, playing nose tackle. So now at least they have Eric Howard in there to play the run.
That would account for some of the yards, I think, that the 49ers got against them on the ground. Here's Schrader. Fake draw. Taylor chases, almost got there. And Schrader just throws in the direction of the Redskin bench. Taylor was close.
I'll tell you, Taylor did get there. Watch him coming from the outside again. Joe Jacoby having trouble with Taylor today. Taylor's just outspeeding him. He hit Schrader just as he threw the ball. And the ball just kind of went up. Bloop, 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 bloop. To no one.
Lawrence Taylor, of course, will forever be entwined in the career of Jay Schrader, because as unfortunate as it was when he broke Joe Theismann's leg last year, it gave Schrader his entrance to the lineup. He's showing blitz again on 3rd down. Coming again. Almost loose again. Forces Schrader out of the pocket. Warren digs for the 1st down, and I think he got it. Yes, he did. Banks on the tackle. Great effort by Warren.
Hey, if I were the Giants, I'd bring Lawrence Taylor every play from this backside, because Schrader just gets rid of this one by stepping up. You know, had he not, it would have been another sack. So I think the Giants, they just have to keep Taylor coming, keep bringing that pressure, and he's going to get there half the time.
On the move is Anthony Jones. George Rogers, the running back. Over the right side for perhaps a couple. Lawrence Taylor chased it down with help from Jerome Salley.
Well, they moved Lawrence Taylor around. He was, you know, we saw him rush the passer from the right side of the defense. That time he lined up over on the left side.
Well, that's what makes him, among other things, including ability, such an asset. Changing from side to side or in the middle, as the case might be, doesn't seem to bother him.
Bothers the offense, though.
Oh, yeah. They give this to Rogers again. He's hit by Carson's right at the line of scrimmage. Well, Joe Gibbs was saying, when we have the ball, there's one thing we have to concern ourselves with. Where is that guy? Where is number 56? Then we know what we have to do.
Yeah, but then it's not easy after you know where he is. I mean, Joe Jacoby's finding that out. He knows where he is. He doesn't know what to do about it.
That brings up a 3rd and 7. Redskins at their own 40. No score yet. Minute and a half left, 1st quarter. Here comes Taylor again. Schrader gets it off to Bryant. Enough for a 1st down just past midfield. And a gain of 11. Carl Banks stopped him.
That's why the Redskins are such a good team, because they're not giving him the time. Taylor has been on Schrader all day. So he's making him throw instead of to Clark and Monk, but Schrader's able to do it. He hits his tight end, Donnie Warren. He hits his running back, Kelvin Bryant, to get rid of the ball before the rush gets there.
1st and 10. Less than a minute left in the 1st quarter. This time, Taylor is on the left side of the defense. They run in that direction. Rogers pounds for about 5. Carson's on the bottom of the pile with help from Salley.
One thing, if you're going to run at the Giants, that's where they're running now. As we talked about George Martin being the pass rush guy and really not that strong against the run.
2nd and 6. Nothing score. Schrader gets to Rogers. Rogers tried to get it to the outside. Did get to the inside as he ducked back in. Stopped by Carson. Parsons close to a first down. The Giants in 1986 have not scored a touchdown in the first quarter. The only team in the NFL, and they still haven't done it. That's the end of one. At sold-out RFK Stadium, the score is the Giants nothing, the Redskins nothing. They are even indeed.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Lite, proud sponsor of NFL Lineman of the Year. There's only one light beer, Miller Lite. The heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. And by GTE. GTE.
At the end of the first quarter, no score. We're ready to start the second. Redskins have a very unusual lineup in there, John. Extra tackles.
Well, they have 7 offensive linemen in there. Their normal 5 plus Dan McQuaid and Wally McKenzie. That's 7. You know, they're called the Hogs anyway. That's the full barrel of Hog.
And you put Anthony Jones, number 82, in there behind him. He's about 260. And Warren back in front of Rodgers. That is a full package. Rodgers gets the Redskin first down.
Bill Parcells should have been in there to play that one from that stand. But I'll tell you, that is, I mean, that's all offensive linemen and a 250-pound tight end in the backfield. And then you just take that thing and just, boom, just like a tractor, you know, coming in to mow out some trees and stuff.
George Rodgers, they say, is always smiling. First and 10 Redskins at the Giant 39. Rodgers left side, hit behind the line of scrimmage by Eric Howard, who broke clean, a loss of 1.
You know, that's the thing. When that nose tackle can get in that backfield, watch Howard here. He's going to go, boom, get that penetration and get in the backfield before the run can get started. You see what happened? They were pulling the off-guard tackle. He got right in behind him, and he got Rodgers before he got to the line of scrimmage.
Makes it 2nd and 11. Clark is split wide to the right. Bryant is in the backfield. This is Monk moving. Bryant inside the 35 to about the 32, a gain of 7 before Reasons and Carson, excuse me, make the stop.
Yeah, talking about Carson, he was the guy last time they played. Rodgers ran in there. Carson hit him. He was on the pile, and he said, "We're going to knock that smile off your face today." Giant players were talking about it last night. They said it was surprisingly, Rodgers was quoted as saying that this week they were surprised that he even remembered it.
That brings up 3rd and 4. Clark goes in motion this time. Schrader goes back to throw. Chased out of the pocket by Marshall and by Sally. And they get him down for the 2nd time today and take him again out of field goal range.
It's a big play by the Giant defense. We see Taylor rushes inside. It's a stunt. Marshall's going to the outside. Watch number 70. Now watch him take off and extend as Schrader tried to get outside of him. I'll tell you, that was something, but he was stunting that way.
Big Leonard. Schrader's a tough guy to sack. He's very quick and big.
For a big guy, Marshall can bring that 300 pounds pretty good.
Sure can and did. Cox kicks it straight up. McConkey comes up running up, signaling fair catch, and makes it at about the Giant 23. Only a punt of 25 yards. And we have 12:49 left to play in the first half, and we still have no one on the scoreboard.
Pat, Art Monk hasn't caught a pass. Gary Clark has only caught one. I think this is the reason, this side of the rush. This time, Taylor comes here and comes inside. Marshall comes to the outside to get the sack. Before, it had been Taylor just coming from the outside. Watch, Taylor comes to the inside. There goes 70 to the outside, and he gets the sack. But that left side of their offense hasn't been able able to control the pass rush.
Giants have it 1st and 10. Morris has the handoff, and Morris fumbles. Scramble still goes on. It'll take a minute. The Giants have it back.
You see number 41 there, Tim Morrison for the Redskins. The ball hit him in the heel. He didn't even see it. He was turning the other way, and the ball was rolling right towards him. Watch here. The ball is knocked out of there by man. Now watch it roll. You see it hit Morrison. He didn't even see it. It hit him in the heel, and the Giants came up with it.
Solomon Miller came up with the recovery, and the Giants get a 1st down out of it. Sims back to throw. Lofts it to Bavaro. Comes down with it. Bavaro out of bounds inside the Redskin 40 to the 37. This guy is something.
I think Phil Sims looked like he hurt his hand or he hurt something because he's running to the he's going back to the huddle. He started to the sideline. We can see what it is. But I'll tell you, if I were Phil Sims, I'd look for that Bavaro too. Because one thing, he's a big target, but the other thing, after he catches the ball, he runs through that defense like a runaway truck.
He had that remarkable run against the 49ers last Monday night. And he's had a big day already. Here's Morris to the right side, trying to get around the corner, and he does. With that great acceleration, Joe Morris turns what looked like a loss into a 5-yard gain. Sims is still a little bit queasy about something.
That's usually what a quarterback will do after he gets knocked queasy, is go to a running play. And when you have a guy like Joe Morris, that makes sense. I think that's what makes Joe Morris such a good runner. There can be a lot of guys there, and they're waiting for him, and he just runs around them.
That was Jeff Hostetler. I beg your pardon. Jeff Rutledge over warming up. Here's Morris again, and again he comes out of there. Rutledge was the man warming up. Hostetler is on the inactive list now with a broken leg. There's Morris. Now he's limping.
I know Joe Morris, and you see that side a lot of times where he'll limp off, and about 2 plays later, he'll be back. Watch him. It's the same thing. They have guys there. The Redskins have guys there. But he just runs through and around them. See, they'll check him out a little, maybe give him a little oxygen, maybe a little tape somewhere. He'll be back in.
Lee Roussan has taken his place. And they give the ball to Roussan. And he skips to about the 25 before Curtis Jordan tripped him up. Second down and 8. They're at the Redskin 25. Neither team has really been able to protect the passer with any degree of success. Sims has had the better of it between him and Schrader. Reverse is faked by Roussan. It was going to be to Bobby Johnson. Roussan wisely held on to it.
Watch Dexter Manley. He's the guy, if you're going to run a reverse, you always want to run it to his side. So when he stops it and it doesn't work, he gets so excited. He says, look, we got him. Look, he's the outside guy here. He gets up the field. He sees the reverse or the fake reverse coming, and he stops it in there. Then he feels good because he thinks, now they won't mess with me anymore on that one. Now I can just rush the passer.
He does feel good.
Yeah, look at him. Look, he's pointing, talking. He got things going down there now.
3rd and 9, Sims out of the shotgun. No blitz, but they don't need to. Man and a bunch of others are on top of Phil Sims, and they come up with a football. Darrell Grant. I'm not sure it was a fumble yet.
I'll tell you, here it is. It looks like the whistle blows. I don't think this is a play, Pat.
I think you're right.
I think they blew the whistle before the ball was snapped.
The flag was thrown for delay before the ball was snapped. Third down.
Oh, the Giants get a break on that one.
I tell you, they did, because not only did they get away from that sack, get away from the fumble, but they still have good field position for a possible setup of a field goal here.
It would be about 47 yards for Allegre if this should be incomplete or they don't get the first down. Sims rolls right. Got his man Bobby Johnson. First down out of bounds. Down deeper in Redskin territory. A gain of 19.
I think this is a good play for the Giants. Watch, it's an organized scramble to the right. See, he just takes the ball in the shotgun. Now he rolls out here. He gets away from that backside pass rush. He can look. He looks downfield, and he finds Bobby Johnson just beyond the first down marker. I like that play, though.
That's a good way to get away from that rush. First and 10 at the 13. Joe Morris back in the backfield, as John Madden told you he would be. Sims to throw. Over the head of Maurice Carthon. Again, he was under heavy pressure. Brings up second and 10 from the Redskin 13.
You know, the Giants have that pattern, Pat, where they put, like, Joe Morris down one seam deep into the end zone and Bavaro down the other seam deep into the end zone. I would expect it on this play.
Bill Parcells said yesterday they have about 5 different versions of that. They could do it here. Instead, they give to Morris. Inside the 10 to about the 9. Again, it's Charles Mann on the stop.
I'll tell you, now what happened, it got him into third down, and it got him about the 10-yard line. Now they're a little close to do that, but it did get him in a passing situation.
3rd and 7. The book on Allegre. He had his problems in Candlestick Park Monday night. He says they're solved with a new pair of shoes.
He said this field, he said this field is a lot like the Baltimore field.
Here's Sims. Bavaro touchdown. Todd Bowles was the nearest defender, but Sims hits Bavaro.
That's the one I thought they'd do on second down. You just take that big tight end and just put him right down there in that short post. Watch from the end zone here. He's on the right side. Bavaro's going to come into the picture right now. Boom, you got that big target down there, and he can make that shield just like a basketball player does.
Rutledge will hold for Allegre's extra point attempt. The Giants lead. Been a tough first half. Nothing. The Giants get it into the end zone first. Sims. Bavaro. 8:35 left in the first half. Giants 7-0. Pat Summerall, John Madden, RFK Stadium, Washington, D.C. The Giants have got the only points. They went 10 plays. Touchdown pass from Sims to Bavaro. Allegre to kick off. Clarence Verdun is deep in the middle for the Redskins. From his own 4. Verdun to about the 26. Reasons down to make the stop, along with Solomon Miller.
Let's watch the touchdown. Bavaro's 89. Watch him here. He's going to start up. Then he just starts to the outside and runs a post back to the inside. Now we'll watch it on the chalkboard and see what... Here's Bavaro here. Here's McConkey here. They both run post. And what Sims is going to do is he keys this guy right here. Now watch what happens. They start here. Now right there, the safety looks to McConkey here, and then he throws to Bavaro in the middle.
Schrader sudden, he didn't have time. We're at RFK Stadium in Washington, the home of the Redskins. The crucial matchup between the Giants and the Redskins so far. Bavaro has 4 receptions. He has the only touchdown of the game. Washington has only 23 passing yards. Joe Morris has been able to run, but just a little bit. Delvin Bryant in for Rogers. Clark wide right. 2nd and 10. Almost picked off by Harry Carson. Art Monk, I believe, was the intended receiver. Carson had a shot.
I'll show you why Carson has a shot. Watch the right side of the screen. Now what they're doing, let me just show you. Here's Donnie Warren, the tight end. By keeping him in, that's going to free the linebackers up. But they have to keep him in, see, to block Lawrence Taylor. So now the Giants defense has them keeping their tight end in. So that's freeing other guys that would be covering.
Schrader is 5 out of 13. More importantly, for only 42 yards. They've rushed him so he can't go deep. Again, he's flushed out of the pocket by Marshall. Tended Clark, picked off by Herb Welch. And the Giants will take over at the Redskin 40. The pressure did it.
I tell you, the pressure did it. The pressure's been doing it all day, and the pressure is taking this crowd away from the Redskins. They're starting to boo him now. Watch his pressure. Now it's going to be from the left side. See, that flushes him out to the right. Here he's being chased. Here comes George Martin up the field. He has to throw the ball running. Welch was right there as Clark was coming across.
We were talking with Marshall last night. I asked him if he was ready to play, and he said, "You better believe I'm ready." And he is.
If you can't get ready for this one, you can't get ready.
1st and 10 Giants, Redskin 40. They go with 2 tight ends. Morris, right side, no gain. Calvin Daniels on the bottom of the pile. That'll bring up a 2nd and 10. It's the man who got the interception.
You know, to me, he's the guy that had a big play in that 49er game last week. The 49ers were driving. At the end of the game, he tackled Rice for about a 2-yard gain. He got him down so that they had to go on 3rd and 4th down.
Manley trying to get the crowd back in the game and behind the Redskins. Morrison is in the game and Coffey is out. And here's Joe Morris in motion. Sims straight back. Got a man. Bobby Johnson. It's knocked down at the last second. Somebody threw a shoe. There's a pigeon on the field. How did he get in there?
Well, he wanted to get down there. He couldn't get a seat. He tried to get up above, and there was no place. The only place there was only that he could land is right there.
He was in the middle of the action. I thought the shoe came off.
I'll tell you, there's the throw. Johnson really has him beat. And there's the pigeon was right there where Johnson was running. I think there were 2 pigeons there. Johnson's trying to run a post pattern, and the pigeon's getting away.
And they're still there.
That's, you know, the old thing, you can run down to the pigeon and turn left.
Sims out of the shotgun this time, going deep again. Got Bavaro. He had him wide open. It would have been a tough catch. Bavaro's totally by himself.
Well, you know, those are the things that Bill Parcells thought that they could get. He says, we're going to throw against these guys. We're going to attack them. We're going to throw deep. They had Bobby Johnson open. Now he has Bavaro. Look, he's wide open. There's not a defender around there. What they do is they get the safety going one way. They have like 2 or 3 guys going deep, and then just read the way the safety goes and then throw the other way.
Giants had a chance to go up 14-zip. They just missed connections. Landetta aiming for the sideline. Jenkins back deep. Signals fair catch makes it. Redskins will take over at their own 15. Those 2 guys don't know there's a game here. 7-0 with 7:04 left to play in the first half at RFK. Next Saturday at 1:30 Eastern Time, another season of college basketball begins here on CBS Sports as the defending Pac-10 champion Arizona Wildcats take on Reggie Williams and the Georgetown Hoyas. College basketball next Saturday on CBS Sports, the home of the NCAA championship. And by the way, all of us at CBS Sports very happy that we have reached a new 3-year agreement with the NCAA for college basketball. It'll be their home for a while to come. Rogers over the right side. Perhaps he got back to the line of scrimmage. It was Carl Banks. He might have gotten a yard.
Let's watch that Mark Bavaro play again. He runs a post. Now what happens is this safety goes this way, this safety goes this way, and Bavaro has the middle, and the only one in there is still those two pigeons in the middle. Watch the safeties clear out. One safety goes left, the other one goes right. Watch this. Bavaro has the whole middle of the field all to himself. And the ball was just overthrown.
Second down and 10. The Redskins at their own 15. Monk is the move man. Schrader back to throw. Had some time. Gets the ball to Kelvin Bryant. Reasons on the stop. A gain of 5. It'll bring up a third down. Giants come in with their nickel package. The extra defensive backs.
I'll tell you one thing, that the Redskins don't want to go all day completing passes and ended up 3rd and 5.
That's not like Jay Schrader.
No, and of course when you have guys like Art Monk on one side, Gary Clark on the other side, and you can't get the ball to him, I think it's starting to frustrate Schrader.
Monk is in the slot to the right. Schrader has Sanders as his wide receiver. Along with Clark. He's going for Clark, and he's open this time. Gary Clark. Still on his feet is Clark, and he could score. Nope. Down inside the Giant 30 to about the 27, a gain of 54 yards. Elvis Patterson finally made the stop.
But maybe Schrader isn't frustrated anymore. He has to get the ball to Gary Clark. He does a hit, he does a spin, he does an up, he does a stop, he does a spin, he does a cross, he does a lot of things before he finally falls down on his own. Andy Hedden was very close to Jay Schrader. Watch from the left side of the screen. If he hits right there, boom, Hedden hit him just as he threw that ball.
Redskins at the Giant 26, 1st and 10. Kelvin Bryant stays in the game as the running back. Schrader going to work through it. Gets it outside and attempted for Don Warren. Incomplete. For an NFL update right now, let's take you to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Pat and John, Doug Flutie quarterbacking the Chicago Bears, and he scores his first NFL touchdown, and he did it on the ground against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bears in a rout so far. It's 21-0. Let's go back to Pat and John.
Here at RFK, it's 7-0 Giants, but the Redskins on the move. 2nd and 10 at the Giant 26. Schrader with 3 wide receivers. Gibbs on a draw play to Bryant. And Bryant gets down to about the 21. Pick up of 4. Reasons on the stop, along with Eric Dorsey. Playing in place now of Martin.
Well, that was what Bill Parcells said. He said, if we start having trouble with the run, he said, I'm going to get Eric Dorsey in there at that left end and get Eric Howard in at the nose tackle.
Dorsey goes out. Now Martin comes in, the pass rusher.
Because it's 3rd down. Carson comes out. All those run guys come out on 3rd down.
3rd down, 6. Schrader chased again. Gets it out to Bryant, who skips away from one Giant and gets down close to 1st down. It's going to be a measure, I'm sure.
Hey, this is where they had him. They had Bryant. Bryant makes a couple moves. Going to be a very interesting decision if it isn't a 1st down, but it is a 1st down.
It is a 1st.
Yeah, that was a combination. Part good running by Kelvin Bryant, part poor tackling by the Giants.
Redskins trying to tie it up. 1st and 10 at the Giant 15. has been a very clean game so far. Only 2 penalties, 1 for each team. Schrader gets to Bryant. Kelvin Bryant hammers inside the 5. Kenny Hill finally got him down, but Bryant got 11 yards.
What did they have blocking on that left side, Pat? Russ Grimm and Joe Jacoby there. Watch the left side there. They really get that thing going backwards. Look at it. Boom, boom, boom. They make a lane there that no one hits Kelvin Bryant till he runs 8 yards.
They did a marvelous job on Lawrence Taylor. They just chased him backwards. Jacoby trying to get even as Taylor had given him a hard time. Now they go with that heavy package. The 2 extra linemen. Rodgers gets to about the 3.
One thing about this formation, Pat, they have 7 offensive linemen in there and 2 tight ends. They really don't have anyone to throw to.
Anthony Jones wears a number in the 80s, but he's like another tackle, number 82.
Yeah, look at those big old guys. I mean, they got big arms on them, shoulders. Guys like McKenzie, number 63, playing tight end. McQuaid playing the other one, number 60. Big guys. Those guys bench press like 500 pounds, and they're playing tight end.
We'll get the 2-minute warning. Redskins at the Giant and 4. Giant 4. It'll be 2nd and goal from there. 2 minutes to go in the first half. The Giants leading 7-0. But the Redskins have it 2nd and goal at the Giant 4. At the half, Brent and Terry Bradshaw with scores and highlights. Heisman Trophy winner Vinny Testaverde and Brian Bosworth are in the studio. Irv Cross will be here at RFK with a live field report. That's coming up at the half. Right now, the Redskins on the move. Kelvin Bryant is the setback. They have the wide receivers back in now. They do have somebody to throw to. They give is to Bryant, and he scores for the Redskins. Hammers in from 4 yards out. Reason stopped him, but the Redskins can tie it up.
They still have Warren over there. They have Mark May over there, the blocking. They just get helmet to helmet. I think Kelvin Bryant makes a couple moves in there, too. He bounces off, makes a little spin, little dive to get in there.
He looks like the hot back today. Schrader holding. Tim Dejas extra point ties it at 7. 1:55 left to play in the first half. Giants will have plenty of time and all 3 of their timeouts remaining. 7-7. We said in the beginning they are evenly matched. How about it?
Hey, watch, this run is going to go off to the left of your screen here. Watch number 85, Donnie Warren there. He's getting Lawrence Taylor. He stays with him, stays with him, stays with him, just long enough for Bryant to get it in there.
And the satisfaction of Joe Gibbs. 9 plays. The Redskins went 85 yards. They kept it 5 minutes, 9 seconds. The big play was the pass. Here's McConkey struggling to get back to the 20 and doesn't make it. Big play was the pass from Schrader to Clark.
Well, that was the thing that they had to do. The Redskins had been having trouble the entire first half of handling the pass rush of the Giants. Therefore, they couldn't get the ball to Monk and Clark. They finally hit one, and then Bryant took it over from there.
From 4 yards out. Giants will start from their own 19 with 1:50 left to play, and all 3 timeouts. Keep in mind, Manley trying to get the crowd involved, and they are. Tony Galbraith back with Simmons as the Giants will operate from the spread. See if they can hear. Handoff to Galbraith. Gain of 6. Todd Bowles tripped him up. The Giants in a hurry. Stacy Robinson wide to the left. 2nd and 4. Sims back to throw. Manley's cut down. They get it out to Galbraith, and he's got some room. And a first down. Outside the 30, about the 36, a gain of 12. Curtis Jordan stopped him. Again, they're in a hurry. Let's get things going. Clock running a minute 15 now. Sims. Time. Out of bounds in the direction of McConkey.
The Redskins don't use this defense a lot. It's just their prevents. The defense I'm talking about is a 3-man line. Redskins are one of those teams that always have 4 defensive linemen in there. In fact, as we speak, Dave Butts is just running in to become the 4th defensive lineman. But the only time they do it is the end of the half and the end of the game in that prevent type situation that all fans hate. And the only thing that prevents is a win.
2nd and 10. Sims gives to Galbraith again. He shakes away from one man and gets to about the 40. Pickup of 3 before Charles Mann trips him up. Giants now not in too big of a hurry. Clock runs down to 50 seconds. And again, timeouts remaining. Here's Sims back to throw. Going deep, he's got Johnson knocked away at the last second. No, he came down with it. Bobby Johnson out of bounds, stopped the clock. Barry Wilburn was the defender. I thought Wilburn knocked the ball away at the last second.
No, Johnson catches it just inside. The guy that surprised me was 48 Ken Coffey. He took a real bad angle. He should have been over there to help deep with that. I'll tell you, that was really a throw by Phil Sims.
Excellent.
Dude, watch it. There's Johnson, the outside guy. Now watch 48. See the angle? He takes straight there. You'll never get there that way. You've got to take an angle where the ball's going to be thrown.
They're up there.
Yeah, that's right. That wasn't Walt Walton's fault on that one.
He took a swipe at it just as the ball arrived. I thought he hit it originally.
You know what happens when it's against the home team? When they hit one like that, instead of a cheering, you just hear silence. I don't know how you hear silence, but you know what I mean, don't you?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, if the home team does it, there's a big cheer. If the visiting team does it, there's boom, nothing.
Well, one thing now, they're in Allegre's range for a field goal that would give the Giants the lead back again. They still have 2 timeouts remaining. They're at the Washington 26. They have the first down, so right now they have a lot of weapons at their disposal. Sims is 8 out of 16 for 162 yards. And the 1 touchdown pass to Bavaro. They have a shot at another one. Morris and Carthon behind Sims as he is not in the shotgun. Redskins showing blitz. And Sims thinking that's coming. Sims quick. Outside Stacy Robinson. And Robinson still struggling. Gets down to the 5. It's another Giant first down. Morris and the defender, and Sims read that one perfectly.
He not only read it, but his offense picked it up for him because they came on a safety blitz. You can see that they're bringing the whole thing. Watch the 2 safeties coming up inside. Boom, Carthon gets one right there. Sims had a solid time to throw it. He just gets the ball out to Stacy Robinson, man on man out there against Tim Morrison. Hey, that was good by Sims, good by Robinson, but that pickup was about as good as you can get.
Good by Morris and Carthon, the 2 backs who picked up the 2 blitzing safeties.
When those 2 safeties come, they're the responsibility of the 2 backs. And even though they were going out on a pattern, they have to stay in and block.
Sims changed it at the line of scrimmage. It's 1st and goal at the 7. The Giants now down to 1 timeout.
This is a tough, the closer you get to the goal line, the more difficult it is to pass. The Giants are on the 7-yard line, so you really only have 17 yards. 7 yards to the goal line and 10 yards of end zone. And so instead, you can't run guys up deep. What you have to do is run them on crossing patterns. So I could see like Bavaro coming on a crossing type pattern.
Sims just returns to the huddle. Then over to talk to Parcells. First and goal from the 7. 29 seconds left in the first half. Score tied 7-7. Bobby Johnson wide right. Robinson wide left. Johnson comes in motion. Sims looking for a slot. Tosses, touchdown to Johnson. Sims' second of the day.
I'll tell you one thing, I think we have to give credit to this Giant offensive line because Sims can do it. If you give him time, he can get the job done, and this offensive line is giving him time. Watch him here. They have the crossing patterns. He has time. Manley's running to the backside. He can run up a little. Look at Bobby Johnson right at that end line all by himself.
With that crossing pattern that you spoke about. Allegre with Rutledge holding. 14-7 Giants. 23 seconds still remain in the first half. Bobby Johnson, who just scored the touchdown. And his big catch before that is what set up the touchdown.
Well, to me, I think the big story in the first half is the Giant pass protection. Sure, that's what Bill Parcells is thinking now. If we can pass protect against these guys, we can throw it. Joe Gibbs on the other side is thinking, if we have to get the ball to Monk, we haven't done that. We have to get the ball to Clark. But before we can do that, we have to get our pass protection.
Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall and company have given Jay Schrader fits, flushed him out of the pocket, sacked him a couple of times. And he hasn't been able to get that ball upfield like he likes to. Next Saturday, we'll be out in the mountains as these Redskins visit Denver. It begins at 3:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. That ought to be a heck of a match.
Well, it will be. You know, if they win here today, they're still going to have to win at Denver next week. That's where the Giants have an advantage. The Giants could lose today, and if the Redskins lose next week to Denver, then the Giants would still be in.
Both are already in the playoffs. Excuse me. Cam Jenkins fields the line drive kickoff and gets out to about the 35. 18 seconds remaining in the first half. Lee Roussan made the stop. Halftime approaching. The Bears with Doug Flutie scoring his first NFL touchdown. Lead Tampa Bay 21-0. Minnesota 13-6 over Green Bay. Cincinnati over New England. Cleveland beating Buffalo. Detroit, Pittsburgh tied 10-10. Atlanta 14-7 over Indianapolis. Miami 21-7 over New Orleans with Marino having a hot day. From the 35, the Redskins with 18 seconds remaining, and Schrader goes back to throw. Taylor is loose. Third sack of the day by the Giants. 2 of them by Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor is a great player when he's not fired up. When he's fired up, he's like something else. They only have 2 defensive linemen. They have Martin and Marshall inside. Taylor is the 3rd defensive lineman out there in the right, and he got there. Joe Jacoby is having a tough time today against Lawrence Taylor.
Taylor's just too fast.
That's what he's beating him with. You know, I mean, they start up, they lock up in a strength thing, and then Taylor just outruns him. Look at Joe. He has his hands on his hips there, and he's saying something's going on here. He said, I need a tight end or something over here to slow this guy down.
That's a change I would anticipate we'll see in the second half.
Well, we did see it for a while, but then that takes your tight end out of the passing game, and then that gives him an extra linebacker or defensive back in pass coverage.
By the way, that touchdown pass from Sims to Bobby Johnson was his 100th of his career. Charles Connolly leads at 173, Tarkenton 103, and now Sims with 100.
I'll tell you, I've always felt that Phil Sims is maybe the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. In fact, I think we have 2 most underrated.
I agree.
Jay Schrader and Phil Sims. Maybe it's because they're both blonde-haired or something. Blue eyes.
Schrader back to throw again. Martin chases him out of the pocket this time. Schrader going deep, looking for Monk. And a lot of blue shirts around, and the ball's on the ground.
I'll tell you one thing about Schrader. I think he could get frustrated a little, but I don't think he's going to stay frustrated.
The injured Jim Burt. I wonder what time he starts putting that uniform on.
Well, they have to get all those things. You see, they have to tape. The first thing they do is they tape the jersey to the shoulder pads. Then you got to tie up that side to make it tight. So you take them. It takes like 3 hours to do. You have a pregame meal like 4 hours before the game. Then you go work on your jersey for 3, and then you're ready to play.
That jersey would make a clothes designer sick. A few pigeons on the field and a few in the stands. Schrader, as far as he can throw it. It's picked off by Perry Williams, and that should finish what has been a first half much as we expected. Very even. That's the end of the first half with a score: the Giants 14, the Redskins 7. RFK Stadium, obviously in Washington, D.C. Again, I'm Pat Summerall along with John Madden. And the Giants lead the Redskins at the half 14-7. I guess if you looked at one critical factor, Phil Simms has had time to throw the ball more certainly than Jay Schrader has. And I think that's perhaps the key.
Well, and Jay Schrader hasn't been able to get the ball to Art Monk and Gary Clark. Clark has caught 2 passes. Monk has caught none. I think one of the big reasons is Lawrence Taylor. He's been coming from that left side. We see it right here. He's been working on Joe Jacoby over there on that side, and he's been giving Schrader all kinds of trouble, and Schrader hasn't been able to stand back there and have the time to find Monk and Clark.
That's the book on Lawrence Taylor and what he's done in pressuring here in the first half. 2 tackles, quarterback sacks, 2 for a loss of 8 yards, hurries 2. It's just been one of those typical dominating Lawrence Taylor first halves. Here is where he is lined up. We've been watching this from time to time throughout the year. 27 times is where he's caused the most trouble, over on the right side.
Well, I think that's where they want him to work. I think they want him to work over there on that left side on Joe Jacoby, because I think they lock up, but Jacoby's one of those big 300-pound guys, and boom, he comes off it after he locks up there.
On the other hand, the Giants have done a pretty good job on Dexter Manley.
Well, you know, Brad Benson is one of those guys that you don't hear much about unless he has a penalty. But I'll tell you, in this first half, I think he's controlled Manley pretty well with blocks like that.
That's the book on Manley. 2 tackles, no sacks, 1 quarterback hurried, 1 quarterback knockdown. What then can the Redskins do to control Lawrence Taylor, if they can, in the second half?
Well, that's going to be the problem. I mean, I think that they have to get the ball to Monk and Clark, and I think they have to control Taylor, and probably the way to do it is to get another tight end in there, maybe go 2 tight ends, or maybe just keep their tight end Donnie Warren in there. But they have to give Schrader a little more time to see the field and get the ball to those guys.
It should be an interesting second half. The Giants lead 14-7. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft smoothness. It's beer at its best. Yugo, everybody needs a Yugo sometime. And by Sony Video 8, the video system of the future. Sony, the one and only.
And the Redskins tied with 11-2 records. Not tied here at RFK, however. The Giants lead at 14-7. Clarence Burdan fumbles. Ball goes into the end zone. He had to bring it out. And did. And is. And almost a long way out. Lee Roussan and Elvis Patterson corralled him after he brought it back. The line of scrimmage is going to be marked at about the 17-yard, maybe 18-yard line. That's where the Redskins will take over. They need to get something going on this first drive.
Well, you know, Clint Didier has been out. He broke his hand a couple of weeks ago against the Cowboys. They said he was ready to play today. So he hasn't played, so they had to play with 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers most of the game.
And he really had adds a dimension to that Redskin attack. Schrader back in a hurry and throwing in a hurry. Gets it to Monk, his first reception of the day. Monk still fighting, still on his feet, dives close to a first down. Reasons tripped him up.
We talked about what the Redskins had to do. Obviously, one is to get the ball to Art Monk and Gary Clark. But I think that that's one of the things that Joe Gibbs and his staff do the best.
There's an injured Giant up at the right side of your picture. We haven't picked up yet who he is. It's not Lawrence Taylor. I see him. It's not Harry Carson. I see him. It's not Banks. I see him. Next Saturday, don't forget, in the Mile High City, the Redskins travel to Denver. No matter what happens here today, that's still going to be a big game. The Broncos shooting for a spot in the division championship, and so are the Redskins. Redskins are already in the playoffs. That's Terry Kennard, who is the injured Giant, and they cannot afford to lose him. He was injured against the 49ers on Monday night, had a bad shoulder.
He came in with a shoulder injury. That was one of the things that they were worried about, that, you know, as they said, he can start, but we don't know what's going to happen when he gets the first hit. And that doesn't look like it's a shoulder. I mean, obviously, they're looking at the knee there.
Bill Parcells very anxious because this is a key man, Terry Kennard. The AFC playoff picture, the division leaders, New England and the Jets, tied at 10-3. Cleveland ahead in the Central, and Denver at 10-3, leading in the West. The best of the rest, Cincinnati, the Raiders, Kansas City, Denver's playing them today, and Seattle at 7-6. Kennard walking off, which is encouraging, and now jogging off, which is even more encouraging.
When you get to these big games and you're going into the playoffs, we're talking about both of these teams are in the playoffs. One of your biggest concerns is health. You know, that you have all your players.
Herb Welch has taken Kennard's place. Kelvin Bryant is in the backfield for the Redskins as they operate 1st and 10 from their own 29. By Taylor. Monk was covered by Reasons, incomplete.
Did you see Taylor on that play? Watch him. He starts like he's blitzing. The Redskins are keeping their tight end. See Donnie Warren hit him. Taylor starts. He gets off the block, comes back, and knocks the ball down with his left hand. But that's one of the things I thought the Redskins would probably do, is keep their tight end in and get a little help on Taylor. So Taylor sees that and says, aha, fooled you. Boom, I'm backing up. I'll knock you down.
And he showed us, the Redskins, and everybody what an athlete he is. 2nd and 10. Started one way, went the other. Schrader back to throw. As time gets it to Bryant. And Bryant will have a Redskin first down. Carl Banks brought him down after a gain of 12.
Joe Gibbs was telling us yesterday about Kelvin Bryant that, remember, we saw him early, the first game against the Eagles. He looked like he was going to be a big plus for this team. Then he injured his knee, and Joe was saying that since he's come back, he really hasn't hit his stride yet. He said, but if we're going to be a contender, if we're going to do well in this tournament, he said he's going to have to start hitting it.
That was his 5th catch today, so it looks like he's close. Warren in motion this time. Again, it's Bryant. Cuts back inside to about the 45. Herb Welch up to stop him. A gain of 4. There's Clint Didier with a broken hand.
Watch this. They're going to run at Lawrence Taylor, and they're going to get some blockers. There they have 2 tight ends on him. They have Jones on him. They have Warren trying to get him, then getting the next guy, and they take him to his back. They said, he may rush against us. We're going to run at him and teach him what it's like to have to stand in there and take it.
Second and 6. Monk on the move again. Schrader has Monk. Brought down, tried to spin away from Reasons, but he stuck with it. Gain of 4.
Well, we can see one of the adjustments that the Redskins are making. There's Jay Schrader. He's asking, I think, for 2 tight ends. That either means hook 'em horns or give me 2 tight ends or give me 2 of something it means. But anyway, we can see one of the things they're going to do to get the Monk is they shorten down some of his routes.
They have to. They just didn't have time for anything else. It's 3rd and 2. Schrader's going to throw on 3rd and 2. He's chased by Marco. The referee almost took a beating, and the pass is almost intercepted. Red Cashin couldn't get out of the way. Elvis Patterson was the man who had a shot at it.
What's Leonard Marshall, number 7? He has a spinner. He hits into Jacoby, spins, splits both of them, runs the quarterback into the referee, and Schrader just had to dump that ball and darn near dumped an interception. See, he had Clark, but had Marshall not been there, he would have had a chance to drill that ball into Clark.
Steve Cox back to punt. Phil McConkey back deep for the Giants, back with the Pigeons again. Cox gets off. McConkey signals fair catch, lets it fly, and it flies into the end zone. They'll bring it back to the 20. Terry Orr was the first Redskin down there. A 51-yard punt by Steve Cox. It's 14-7. Giants lead it. We're in the 3rd quarter. Don't forget, next Saturday at 1:30 Eastern Time, another season of college basketball begins here on CBS as the defending Pac-10 champion Arizona Wildcats take on Reggie Williams in Georgetown. College basketball next Saturday on CBS. The home of the NCAA championship. First down, Giants, their own 20. They lead by a touchdown. Lee Roussan in the backfield with Maurice Carthon, who takes the pitch out. Carthon gets perhaps only 2, maybe 3. Rich Malott tripped him up.
You know, one of the things we were talking about, how the Giants were going to throw deep. You can see they've only thrown 6 passes under 10 yards. Sims has thrown 8 in that 10 to 20 range. He's thrown 2 in the 21 to 30 and 2 in the 30 to 40 range. So they are throwing the ball. They are getting it up the field.
And that means you've got to have some time. And Sims is back to throw. To Roussan. It'll be a Giant first down at their own 43. Curtis Jordan made the tackle.
I'll tell you, and he has had time. I mean, that's the impressive thing today is this Redskin team is a good pass rush team. They have Butch usually giving good pressure up the middle. Manley, who was a leading sacker in the league, coming from the outside, but they've handled that pretty well today. Watch the left side there. Boom, a nice job there. Just get the thing, just ride them out. Let Sims step up and throw.
Here's Joe Morris. And he gets around the corner to about the 48. Knocked out of bounds there. Morris up in a hurry and back. And Marino having a hot day, as is Doug Flutie. Darrell Green knocked him out of bounds. Morris 38 yards and 10 carries.
Whereas last time they played, Morris had 181 yards against the Redskins.
2nd and 5. The Giants now operate with 2 tight ends. Mowat behind Bavaro on the right side. Handoff is to Maurice Carthon right at midfield, and he is down there. A gain of 2. Dexter Manley on the bottom of the pile.
Well, that had to be to fool him play, but it didn't fool anyone. Where you put Joe Morris there, you put your 2 tight ends together on the right side, and then you run up the middle on the other side. To Carthon, your fullback, who you never give the ball to. That was a fool him that didn't fool him.
Make it 3rd and 3, and the Giants will go with Tony Galbraith in the backfield alongside Sims now out of the spread formation. And send McConkey in motion. Sims tries to get out of the pocket, does get out of the pocket, does get the ball to McConkey. He holds on, and the Giants will move the sticks. Gain of 7.
Yeah, it's one thing I like about Sims is he moves just enough to buy a little time to get open. You know, I mean, to let his receiver get open. So he's getting a little push here. Now he just moves up 3 or 4 steps, buys a little time, boom, finds a receiver, and gets him for the first down. You don't have to be a big runner. You don't have to run all over the field. Just a few quick steps, boom, here, there, and then let your receiver have some more time to work.
Economy and efficiency. Sims back to throw on first down. Has time and has Bavaro. He's down to the Redskin 20. Curtis Jordan made the stop after a gain of 22 on the connection between Sims and Bavaro. Bavaro had caught 54 coming in, and he's had a big day today.
I watched Brad Benson out there, number 60 on Dexter Manley. I'll tell you, see, by when that guy spins against you, you just get that hand up there and then push him off. See, Dexter's starting to get a little frustrated. Benson's coming in and saying, hey, you're not going to push me around. I like that. I mean, these offensive linemen can be aggressive, too. They don't just have to sit and take it.
Carthon goes in motion. The handoff is to Morris. He gets inside the 20 to about the 18.
Wait until you see this block by Brad Benson on Manley here. Watch him, number 60, right there in the left of the screen. Watch him come down on Manley, 72. Boom! Drive him right into the dirt. I tell you, as a tackle, there's nothing that gives you more satisfaction than that. That the guy, you know, you pass protection, you take all the stuff, and then you drive him into the ground on a run block.
Brad Benson, if you can believe it, was looking forward to this matchup with Manley. So far, I think you'd have to say he's won it. Morris. Monty Coleman there. Along with Charles Mann, and they shut that one down for no gain.
Yeah, talking about Brad Benson, he's getting a new dog, a pit bull. He raises dogs and trains dogs. And he said the new one that he's going to name the dog Dexter.
He might be in the market for a new nose to go along with a new dog.
Well, that thing there, he just gave up on it. You know, he's had that thing for about 2 months now. You know, the helmet comes down and cuts that thing. They used to put it back together. He said, I just gave up. He said, it just won't stay together anymore.
It just doesn't get well. 3rd down and 8 from the 18. McConkey goes in motion. Sims gets it up the middle to Galbraith. Galbraith dancing down to about the 12. A gain of 11 and another Giant first down before Coffey knocks him down. Again, they did the job on Manley.
I tell you, they do it, and that's given Sims the time. I mean, Sims has been able to find an outside receiver, find his tight end, find Galbraith on this one, and that's what he's doing so well. He's standing in there, can stand in the pocket, move a little, and then really spread the ball around.
1st and goal at the 8. Both those guys, both Manley and Benson, were, as we said, looking forward to this matchup. I don't know if Manley still is or not. Sims, all kinds of time, throws it to the Redskin band. Mark Bavaro shaken up somewhere. He's limping toward the sideline. Remember, he had a bad foot early in the year.
He had a bad foot. This one looks like a knee. Right there, you see what happens. It's his own man. It's Carl Nelson, the right tackle, rolls right up on his left knee. You can see there's so many freak injuries in this game. It's artificial turf causing you your own man. You get hit, you get rolled up on.
Mowat has taken his place, and he's lined up on the right side. No flag. Morris held for a minimal gain. Coffey, Bavaro trying to shake it off. I tell you, if anyone everyone can shake it off, there's a guy who can.
Well, he's a tough guy. You know, he played with a broken jaw for a month, and no one knew about it. He had his jaw wired together, his teeth wired together. He played with that. He had the bad arch. Now he got today, and looks like he's going to be back in there.
He could accommodate a broken jaw with the wired teeth together because he doesn't talk anyway.
Probably half the team didn't even know he had a broken jaw.
Third down. Sims back. Johnson struggling. He hit him at about the 2. They knocked him back. Coffey on the coverage along with Darrell Green.
That was a great tackle. I mean, that's the thing we were talking about. The tackling on the championship teams, I think, improves at this time.
Flag down on the play, and the way the Giants are acting, it's against Washington. It is.
You know what happened? I bet they had too many men on the field, Pat. The Giants sideline was trying to take a timeout before that ball was snapped. I bet they had 12 guys out there. Look, there's some good blood.
Yeah.
Woo, we got stuff going here. We got some birds on the field and some blood in the pants. And
That's Bart Oates. You'd figure in the middle of all that he might have some blood.
well, your name's Bart, you got to have blood. You can't be too suburban.
The ball is still at about the 1-yard line, and we still don't have a decision about the penalty flag. The Giants have been indicating it's against the Redskins. Red Cashin.
12 men on the field by the defense, half the distance to the goal, still third down.
Okay, here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There they are. They caught him. They had 12 guys. 12 guys. No good. Penalty.
So it's still third down, still third and goal from the 4 now. 4:49 left to play in the third quarter. Bavaro's back. Sims is back to throw. And the direction of Maurice Cartham well over his head, and they will settle for a field goal attempt by Allegre.
Well, Sims was looking for something inside, Pat. He didn't want to throw it to Carthon. He was trying to hit Bavaro inside, I think. And he looked and he looked, then he had to come off to Carthon. See, Bavaro is going to start up and then run that post pattern. Pretty good coverage. He doesn't have anything there. See, when Sims was throwing it. After the quarterback throws, it doesn't make any difference if you're open in, right?
Then everybody's open. From 21 yards by Allegre. Rutledge holding. This would make it 17-7, a 10-point Giant lead. They had trouble on the grass last week. No trouble on the grass this week. With 4.5 minutes left to play in the third quarter, the Giants lead it by 10, 17-7 over the Redskins. Pat Summerall, John Madden. We're at RFK Stadium in Washington, where the Giants lead the Redskins by 10 points, 17-7. 4.5 minutes left to play third quarter. Raul Allegre set to kick off. Count everybody. Put in the mouthpiece. Allegre kicks it. Good kick this time. Verdan takes it about the 2. Trying to get around the corner. Elvis Patterson knocks him well out of bounds. A return of 20. Verdan might be shaken a little bit. And is.
But you know, Clarence Verdan is only 5'5". He's only about 5'5", 145-pound guy.
RFK Stadium in Washington, the home of the Redskins. Giants 17-7. That's the situation. Here's how it happened, or this will summarize some of it. Sims has 2 touchdown passes, one to Bavaro, one to Johnson. Schrader's been intercepted 3 times and hurried a lot of times. And in the sack race, Manley has none. LT, Lawrence Taylor, has 2, and with those 2, he has taken the lead as far as we know in the sack race. He has 18.5 now. Manley has 17.5. And again, we keep saying, give credit to that offensive line of the Giants. They have done a whale of a job. 4:21 then left to play, third quarter. And the Giants lead the Redskins 17-7. Clarence Verdun landed on his back and shoulder. They have gotten him to his feet, but he's in obvious agony.
Well, we can see that he's returning the kick. Elvis Patterson has him here and takes him down out of bounds, and watch, throws him right on that right shoulder and back. That's out of there. As I said, Clarence Verdun's only 5'5" and 145, 150 pounds. So, you know, you take that and throw it down like that. You got some things shaking up in there.
He's still shaking his head. So, after he gets off, we'll begin with the Redskins 1st and 10 at their own 22. Giants 17, Washington 7. 3-3 still between the Cardinals and Eagles in the fourth quarter now. Cincinnati beating New England. And the Giants are beating the Redskins. Verdun walked all the way across to the other side of the field under his own power. Gary Clark comes wide left. Kelvin Bryant stays in the game. Monk comes in motion. The Redskins have been a good comeback team all year long. Pass is picked off by Harry Carson. Carson hammers down inside the 15 to about the 13, and the Giants will have it. 1st and 10, a 20-yard return by Harry Carson, the defensive captain.
Great defense, a great play by Harry Carson, because he didn't fight for the underneath guy, Art Monk. Now there's a little frustration coming out. We've only had 3 penalties all day. But what happens is, watch Monk, he's going to come in motion. Now they're going to send him underneath. See right there in front of Carson. Carson didn't stay. He didn't go for Monk. He kept dropping back, playing zone, watching the quarterback's eyes, and he picks it off. That's good discipline.
Giants 1st and 10 at the Redskin 14. Hand off Morris. Morris spins to the outside, spins for a loss of a couple. Monty Coleman. Verdun was the man headed up the tunnel you saw a minute ago. Morris lost 2, so it'll be 2nd and 12 now from the 16. They've done a good job controlling Morris.
Well, usually when you have division rivalries and they play the game the second time, it usually doesn't come out the same way. The thing that they got hurt with the first time, they stopped the second time. Then they get it some other way.
Sims looking him over. He looks to Maurice Carthon, who can't come up with it. It'll bring up a 3rd down situation.
Hey, the Giants were down here the last time, and they had to settle for a field goal, and they're having trouble from this area. And, you know, they're trying to hit inside. They're trying to get that crossing stuff, that post stuff. They got it earlier. The Redskins are taking it away, and they're forcing them to the outside things now.
Stacy Robinson comes wide to the right. Johnson is wide left. Albert in the backfield with Sims, who has time. Heads for Johnson in the end zone. Touchdown! McConkey, not Johnson. 16-yard touchdown, a juggling one by McConkey.
Didn't take much to get Phil McConkey up there. I'll tell you something, that's what I say. You know, the Redskin defense started taking away this inside stuff, so they had to go outside. So they come in here, bring McConkey inside like he's going across, send him back to the outside against Darrell Green. Early in the game, Phil Sims underthrew threw that ball, and it was intercepted by Green. This time he threw it perfect, and it was a touchdown.
McConkey juggled it, and still came down with it. And Allegre will try for the extra point with Rutledge holding. Giants can increase their lead to 24-7, and they do. With 3:11 left in the third quarter. The Giants 24. Sims' third touchdown pass of the day. Redskins 7.
Let's watch a touchdown again. Here's Phil McConkey. He's going to be working against Darrell Green. He comes up, really brings him in here. Green comes in, then he goes back to the corner. Green shouldn't have came in so much because he has help inside. Look, here's two guys. They're taking away the inside stuff. McConkey gets outside. Watch McConkey there. See, now here, he doesn't just go outside. He starts in. See, in. Now he breaks out. Then he gives, Sims can throw it right to that end line.
This is going to be Ken Jenkins at his own 2-yard line. Right to the 20. Byron Hunt down to make the stop. Next Saturday, don't forget, these Redskins go to Denver to play the Broncos. All begins at 3:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. John Madden and I will make that trip out. Two of the classic quarterbacks will be in a studio in the NFL Today. Craig Morton and Billy Tillman. Kansas City, however, leading Denver. That makes it next week a very big game for both folks. Here's Schrader back to throw. Field to Monk. But Monk got only about 4 yards before Reasons brought him down. Big Dave Butts over on the sideline.
Yeah, there was a lot of
wars.
There was a lot of talk about Dave Butts. Fred Hoagland, the offensive line coach of the Giants, supposedly said Butts has a big old head. Said his head weighs 50 pounds. He's a pumpkin head. So, of course, that got in the Redskin locker room. Butts weighed his head. He said it only weighs 12 pounds. Not a big old 50-pound head.
Second and 5. Schrader again has time. Kelvin Bryant shakes away and gets a Redskin first down at about the 37. Carson's tripped him up. A gain of 12. The Bears rolling over Tampa Bay.
Everyone rolls over Tampa Bay, though. Doug Flutie's there throwing passes and running bootlegs for him. I'll tell you, if it comes down between the Redskins and the Bears, for home field throughout the playoffs, it would go to point differential. Redskins were plus 13 coming into today.
And that could be one of the reasons why the Bears are rolling. Lawrence Taylor almost broke clean. Schrader gets it out to Bryant. He gets a block. Gets to about the 43. Carl Banks tripped him up. Gain of 6. The Bears have Detroit and Dallas left after today. The Giants at home against St. Louis and Green Bay. Washington finishes on the road at Denver, as we've been talking about, and then the final Sunday at Philadelphia.
If the Giants win today and win their last 2, then they have the division and home field throughout the playoffs.
Clark goes in motion. Schrader chased out of the pocket, gets away from one man, slides, and gets up to about the 44-yard line. A gain of 1. Carson's tripped him up.
I'll tell you, I think we have to give Joe Jacoby credit for that one, because he did get Lawrence Taylor blocked to the outside that time. Big Jake. He has a big old head, too. He has a big old everything.
To go with a 305, 308-pound body.
He was the only guy I've ever seen put his left foot back and his right hand down. Usually put your left foot back, left hand down. He's not going to put any hands down now.
That means pass.
Yeah.
Schrader gets it to Bryant, juggles it, but comes up with it before he goes down. Banks was the closest defender. 5 seconds left to play in the third quarter. that is the end of the third quarter here at RFK Stadium with the score. The Giants 24, the Redskins 7. We now pause for a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Hewlett-Packard, the people who turn your business computing problem into a business computing solution. Miller Highlight. Miller made the American way since 1855. And by Honda, who invite you to experience the Civic four-door sedan at your local Honda dealer.
The Giants offensive line, they've done a heck of a job today. Brad Benson.
He's the only guy that wasn't sitting down. He knows he probably knows I'm not going to sit down till this thing's over.
Here's Schrader. The ball on his hip. Gets it out Bryant. Bryant is knocked down at about the Giant 43 by Jerome Sally. Gain of 9.
One thing, if we look, we can see that today Jay Schrader has thrown 20 passes under 10 yards. Now, that's not usual. Only 5 between 10 and 20, only 2 in that 20 to 30, and only 1 30 to 40. And, of course, with Schrader and the Redskins, they have to get the ball up the field. I think they're starting to get their pass protection down now.
Second down and 2. Schrader with time this time gets it again out to Bryant. That's his 10th catch of the day. Elvis Patterson tripped him up, but it's enough for a Redskin first down. That's another pretty good indication of his inability to get the ball deep.
Well, and I think maybe he stopped looking for it because I think it could be there again now. If he takes a peek, I think he's going to find it. He's thrown already 10 for 80 yards to Kelvin Bryant, but I think if he looks now, there may be something to Monk and to Clark.
First and 10 Redskins from the Giant 35. Giants leading 24-7. We're in the fourth quarter. Clark is wide to the left. Monk goes out there to join him. Schrader again intended Bryant underneath.
See what happens. I think he was rushed so much early in the game, and again from that left side that he started to think short, started to think quicker. Now I think they have that protection pretty well under control. And I think again he can change back and go to those outside guys.
Of course, all the plays come to him from the bench. That doesn't mean he can't change at the line of scrimmage, and it doesn't mean he can't make his own choice. But I think you're right. He's looking underneath. Second down and 10. He gives to Bryant on the draw play. Bryant will have a first down and more. Around the corner inside the 20 and out of bounds by Herb Welch. And Kenny Hill. A pickup of 16 by Kelvin Bryant. He's earning his keep today.
I think that's what they wanted all along, is that passing thing, that, catching the ball, running those draws, and keep substituting with Kelvin Bryant. He's not that guy that you can leave in there and beat around all day. But you bring him in, get a big play, bring him out as they're doing right now.
Keith Griffin takes his place. We don't have any word on what happened to Rodgers, if he's hurt or just that Bryant was more effective. But he hasn't played in the second half. Monk spins to about the 11. Carson's tripped him up. But the Redskins got 7.
I think that's one of the things that they adjusted is to bring Monk in underneath on some of this shorter stuff. I think that was a halftime adjustment. But as I said earlier, I think they can get back to Monk, get back to Clark on the deeper stuff. Of course, they can't now because they're down at the 12-yard line.
They need 3 for a first. Griffin is the setback. Ball's batted away and intercepted by Leonard Marshall. The 5th interception of the day by the Giant defense.
Hey, that's a big thrill for an big old 300-pound defensive lineman. to get in there. You're rushing, and you say, hey, look, there's the ball.
And he still got it.
And these are the Redskins.
And it's 1st and 10. 11:48 left to play. Giants ready to go. 11:48 left to play. They lead 24-7. Johnson in motion. Sims gives to Morris. Hit behind the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing. Olkowitz led the defense. The 5 interceptions by the Giants, by the way, is the most ever against Jay Schrader. Leonard Marshall just came up with the last one. The deflection by Martin.
Let's show it. Here's George Martin here. He's going to get inside, knock it down with his right hand. Marshall comes from this side and catches it and intercepts it.
Sims back to throw. Redskins on a blitz. He throws it on the ground. Olkowitz came clean up the middle. Crowd, of course, thinks he should be called for intentional grounding. So does Dexter Manley and Neil Olkowitz.
Sims knew that he had to get rid of that one. That's one of the rules that I think isn't bad. And I think they shouldn't be too tough on quarterbacks. It's tough enough anyway. I think they ought to let them. They don't get all the black. Let them throw it away, because what's the alternative?
Sack.
Yeah, getting beaten into the ground by a bunch of big old guys.
Under Joe Gibbs, the Redskins, well, never lost in the final 3 games of the regular season. They're headed in that direction. 3rd and 11. Sims sprints away from pressure. Penalty flag is down. I would imagine they'll decline this.
That's going to be holding against the Giants, and that's the first one of the day against either team. Probably on that back side. It was that sprint to the right. I'd be surprised if it's against Manley. I mean, the guy blocking Manley, because he usually gets a lot of penalties.
Here's Red Cashin.
Holding number 65 on the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Bard Oates, the center. Landetta back to punt. The Redskins refuse it. Ken Jenkins standing back at his own 36-yard line. They might put a little pressure on Mr. Landetta here. Nope, they don't. They drop back. He gets off a good kick. Chases Jenkins back to the 30. He drops it. Ball's on the ground. And the Giants come up with it. 51-yard punt by Landetta. Mowat came up with the recovery. Lasker was the man down who hit Jenkins just as he handled it. And he's hurt. He's still down.
He's down because he was, watch, right after he catches the ball, watch Lasker hit him right after he fumbles. It bends him over backward. And Mowat comes in from the right side to recover. I'll tell you, Lasker was something getting down there. Jenkins dropped it. Lasker turned him over on his back. And then, whoop.
6 Redskin turnovers. It's hard to win like that. Next Sunday here on CBS, the big match is the 49ers at New England. Cardinals, Giants, Philadelphia, Dallas, New Orleans, Atlanta, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and Houston. That's all next Sunday. Check your local listings. 49ers in a must-win situation, as are the Patriots. While they attend to Jenkins, the Bears 42-0 over Tampa Bay. Cincinnati over New England now, 17-7. The Jets watching that one. Minnesota 22-6 over the Packers. They're still alive. Kansas City still leads Denver. They're in the 4th quarter. Atlanta 23-14 over Indianapolis. New Orleans closing the gap with the Dolphins. Pittsburgh has taken the lead over Detroit. That should pretty much bring you up to date. Ken Jenkins, a kick returner, really hit by Lasker. 10:49 left to play. The Giants have a first down at the Redskin 27. They lead 24-7. Stacy Robinson comes wide to the left. Bobby Johnson comes in motion. Sims pitches back to Joe Morris. Morris spins down to about the 20. Knocked out of bounds by Curtis Jordan. Gain of 8. Ken Jenkins, left knee problems. He was really hit by Lasker.
Well, it was after the fumble, and it was one of those positions where you drop the ball, you're bending over to pick it up, and then you get it from the front and back over on the back, and there's no protection at all.
McConkey split wide to the right. Robinson left. Sims and Morris collide. Morris gets back to the line of scrimmage before he's knocked down by Rich Malott. Tim Morrison, no gain.
Morris is saying, wow, let me run where I have some blockers. He ran in there, ran into Sims, and then instead of going to the right where he had blockers, he had to turn and come back to this left side where he didn't have any guys.
That makes it 3rd and 2. Big Joe Jacoby. Both these teams in the playoffs. On 3rd down, Sims comes back to throw. Has it picked off by Rich Malott. He fumbled it. And the Redskins get it back. They'll take over. At about their own 15. The pass was intended for Bavaro.
Bavaro faked the block, slipped, came down, got up, and he was coming across. I don't think Sims was watching Malott. I think he was watching Bavaro, and he was leading him, but he led him right into Rich Malott.
Malott sort of backed out of the bunch at the last minute and backed right into the passing plane.
Well, it was a play pass, where they faked the run first. He read the run and then backed straight up and saw Bavaro coming.
24-7, Giants lead. 9:50 left to play. Redskins 1st and 10 at their own 16. Chased by Marshall. Finally gets it to Donnie Warren. Warren scrambles just outside the 20 before he's tripped up by George Martin. Schrader running for his life. Marshall chasing.
Schrader started off this game running for his life, and now we're in the 4th quarter, and he hasn't stopped.
2nd and 5, clock still running. Complete to Clark, out of bounds. That'll stop it. Redskin first down at their own 34. Perry Williams was the nearest defender, but a gain of 14 on that completion.
Hey, one thing about this Giant defense, they have really put the wraps on both Clark and Monk. The last time they played, Clark caught 11 passes, 241 yards, and a touchdown.
McKenzie is playing left guard in place of Russ Grimm. Grimm, you recall, had missed last week with injuries, and now he's getting a rest. Schrader to Warren. Outside the 40, about the 42, but the clock is still running. Carson and Reasons on a stop. Schrader back. Picked off by Andy Hedden. 6 interceptions of Jay Schrader today.
Well, I think early in the game, I think they frustrated Schrader. And I thought he'd come out of it. He really didn't come out of it. And they had the pressure on him. They've had the coverage. They've had him under control. Here he's trying to go to Kelvin Bryant. just throws a bad pass, goes over Bryant's head, and the Indy head and ends up with it.
So the Giants take over at the Redskin 45. Lead 24-7. This may be the year. Giants lead 24-7. Look what a tragic day really it's been for Jay Schrader. First 13 games, he had 11 interceptions. Today, the Giants have gotten 6. Most in one game before was 2. Sims gives to Morris. Morris into the Redskins secondary. First down, Giants. At the Redskin 32, Morrison tripped him up. Morris got 13.
I think there's a flag, Pat. It came out of there late after Morris broke through. Yep. It looked like it's going to be it is against the Giants, but it was away from the run. Mark Bavaro, the tight end, did a nice job of turning out on Dexter Manley. That's where they ran inside of him.
Holding left tackle on the offense, still first down.
See what I mean? They don't give any credit. I mean, the poor old offensive lineman, Brad Benson, he's been in there all day. You know, he's been blocking all day. And then it looks like Roberts is in there now. And they just say holding on the left tackle. No respect at all.
Well, we've given him credit. First and 20. McConkey is the move man. And off again to Morris. Morris tripped up over the right side this time by Charles Mann. Got 2. That'll make it 2nd and 18.
I'll tell you one thing, I'm impressed with this Giant team. You know, the way that they've been able to win different games. I mean, some defense, some offense. There's Brad Benson there. They're giving him a blow and letting Roberts play some at that left tackle. But I'll tell you, this guy's really done a job. I mean, he did a job all day today. I think he's done a job all season for this Giant team, and they're the last to get the accolades when you hand them out.
Morris again, behind Carthen's block. Morris back to about the original line of scrimmage before he's stripped up by Rich Malott. Keeps the clock running. Morris got 7.
You know, the Giant offense, they've been able remember early in the season when they weren't passing too successfully, they had a lot of injuries. Joe Morris really carried the offense. And now they're starting to get some things back. They're starting to throw more. And now I think they've really come into a real balance type of thing.
Which is a healthy situation.
Then there's talk that Bill Parcells was saying that their best wide receiver, Lionel Manuel, should be back by the Green Bay game.
Morris will carry again behind Carthen. And Joe Morris gets down to about the 38 or 39-yard line of the Redskins, stopped by Coffey and Malott. But a gain of 7. Giants will have to punt. But they keep that clock running.
Yeah, I think with a score of 24-7, they're just trying to run time off the clock.
What they've done without their regular nose tackle, Jim Burt. He was able to rest that bad back again today.
You're a nose tackle, and you get in there, and you have to take on all those blocks. You can't have a half-good back. You better have an all-good back.
Boy.
Because they get bent over, blocked from the side, the top, the over, get up looking out their ear holes.
It's not surprising they would have a bad back.
You need good back when you play in there.
They let the 30-second clock run down just to burn some time on the clock. They take the penalty.
Delay by the offense. The yardage is declined. It's still declined. Down.
Darrell Green over on the sidelines. Sanders now is back deep for the Redskins as both their return men, Verdin and Jenkins, have been injured. Landeta standing at his own 46-yard line. High and angling. Sanders will let it bounce, and it takes off into the end zone. Greg Lasker was down looking at it. 39-yard punt. Frustrating day for Dexter Manley. 5.5 minutes left to play. Giants up 24-7.
John, let me have a couple of program reminders for you. NCAA college basketball makes its season premiere on CBS. Arizona against Georgetown. That's next Saturday afternoon at 1:30 Eastern Time. Then right after that, the NFL Today will precede Washington at Denver. This becomes a very important game now for both teams. The Redskins are going to need a win. And look at the Broncos score. They are losing big to the Chiefs in the fourth quarter, 27-10. You saw the Tampa Bay score flashed on your screen, and we have to show you the video of how the Buccaneers got their only touchdown. Watch this play, you won't believe it. Intercepted by Todd Bell. He is stopped by the Bucs. The Bear defensive back laterals it. The second lateral is intercepted, and there he goes for the Tampa Bay touchdown. Vince Heflin, 47 yards with the fumble return, but the Bears are going to win it. Let's go back to Pat and John.
All right, Brent, it's 24-7 here at RFK Stadium. And the Giants have played a well-balanced, excellent football game.
They're in that defense now, Pat, where they only have 2 defensive linemen plus Lawrence Taylor rushing.
Schrader back. Taylor almost broke clean. Schrader got it to Kelvin Bryant. And he gets out of bounds and stops the clock with 5:22 left to play. Kenny Hill chased him out. Tough day for Jay Schrader. Those things are going to happen.
Yeah, some of those things you always feel bad because you lose the game, but some of those things, like you have the sacks and hurries and the knockdowns and all that stuff, you still feel it for about 3 or 4 days.
That's right.
They have to come back Saturday.
Things have gone so well for him since he took over, but it can't be that way every week. Second down, he's back to throw. To Bryant. To the 44. Redskin first down, a gain of 23. Reasons on the stop.
You know who's going to get on Bill Parcells about this is his good friend Bob Knight, the basketball coach at Indiana.
The prevent
defense. Bobby Knight, the basketball coach, says, what do you use that prevent defense all the time? Look, you only got 3 guys rushing, 8 guys back.
Is the receiver this time, and Monk gets another first down. Kenny Hill on the tackle. Gain of 14.
But I know what Bill Parcells is thinking. With a 24-7 lead, the most important thing is the time. Make them work, make them run time off the field, off the clock.
Griffin this time, and another Redskin first down as they eat up the yardage. Gain of 14. Banks on the stop.
Leonard Marshall.
Kenny Hill.
They're going to say he didn't let him up. The Redskins were trying to go without a huddle, get back up to the line of scrimmage. Kenny Hill wasn't going to let him up.
Consume time. Number 48 on the defense. Still first down.
See, it's not unnecessary roughness. It's just trying to consume time. See, he's not doing anything. There's no combinations in there. There's no foreign objects. No one coming off the top ring. See, he's not giving them the business down there. All it's doing is consuming time. No business.
Just taking a nap.
Yeah.
Looking for pigeons.
Yeah, that was good play. Just consume some stuff. That's what Kenny Hill's thinking. See, if you're like Kenny Hill and you're from Yale, you'd get penalties like that. Nice consumption penalty.
And you know what that means, consuming time.
Yeah, you can even spell it.
Schrader has some time for Monk. Incomplete. Herb Welch came over. And he stayed down a moment, but now he's back up.
Yeah, this little Herb Welch, he's a backup defensive back, second-year guy. Last couple of weeks, he's been all over the field.
He's had to be.
He had to be. Terry Kennard's gone down. Herb Welch, he plays, in that nickel situation. Kennard goes down. He's the starting free safety. Smart guy. Has good awareness. See, he just shook the cobwebs out.
He's one of those guys you get mad at.
Yeah. If you're Art Monk.
Yeah. Griffin. And Griffin gets down and up for a first down. Again, it's Herb Welch, a gain of 16, but the clock continues to run at 3:45. Giants leading 24-7. They'll have the outright lead in the NFC East. Lawrence Taylor finally breaks loose in the second half, gets his third sack, and the Giants forced.
But they watch him come from the right side of your screen now. He looks like, right here, he looks like he just shot out of a cannon. Boom. And that's what Schrader's thinking, man. You hit me from the back, you hit me from the front, you grab my jersey, and it's all legal.
It's a Redskin timeout as Schrader comes over to the sideline. They have 2 left. Harry Carson over with Parcells. Don't forget Saturday, John and I'll be in the Mile High City, and so will the Redskins to play the Broncos, who are also losing today. That makes it an even bigger game that we'll have next Saturday, and it begins with the NFL today at 3:30. Pittsburgh by 10 over Detroit now in the 4th. Look at New Orleans. Miami was running for shade, and now New Orleans is getting closer. Minnesota looks like will stay alive. Atlanta 23-21 over Indianapolis. Their first game under their new head coach, Ron Meyer. One giant step to Pasadena. Of course, the site of the Rose Bowl, and CBS will be there. The sack ratio, their 11 wins plus 29. In their 2 losses, -4. Today, -3.
I think they, I think you have to add that sack ratio along with the interceptions, and maybe the 2 go hand in hand.
Sure they do. Elvin Bryant from Schrader, touchdown. Redskins get on the board. 22 yards from Schrader to Bryant. 3:24 left to play. Redskins have 2 timeouts remaining.
Bobby Knight's up there in Indiana and saying, I told you that prevent, you go to that, it prevents nothing.
Well, Bobby Knight, in his victory last week over Notre Dame, used a zone defense. And Parcells called him up and he said, hey, what do you call that when you don't put any pressure on the ball and there's 3 under the basket and 2 out front? What do you call that? Is that a zone? And of course, the zone to Bobby Knight is almost sacrilegious, but he did use it. So the prevent and the zone is sort of an ongoing joke between Parcells and Bobby Knight.
And I think we can see what it does. They were in a prevent type thing. Well, they did bring a linebacker from the outside, but they're in a zone. And Kelvin Bryant just ran right through the zone. I don't know what happened to the weak safety on that. Herb Welch should have been there.
Maybe he was in a zone instead of a prevent. 24-14. Tejas extra point, of course, was good. And 3:24 left to play. Giants lead it by 10. Bryant has 13 catches for 126 yards. That 1 touchdown that ties those 13 catches, ties a Redskin record. 8 plays, 80 yards. They kept it 2 minutes, 6 seconds. Playoff picture. Would seem the Giants are going to be 12-2 and the Redskins 11-3. The Bears have clinched. They won again today. The Rams play later on. They lead the NFC West. 49ers, the best of the rest. 49ers, Dallas, and Minnesota. As the weeks pass, that playoff situation will clarify itself. Onside kick. Fielded by the Giants. It went the 10 yards necessary. Johnson caught it and downed it. 3:20 left to play.
Well, that was a big play there, because after the Giants scored, after the Redskins scored, then they had to get the ball back and get another score. They tried here with the onside kick. The Giants are in good position. They have their hands team in there. 9 guys up there in front, and they got the ball. And really, for all intent and purposes, the game should be over now.
Giants have the ball. They have all of their timeouts remaining. That shouldn't be a factor. Morris headed left side, tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he staggered for one. Darrell Grant was on the bottom of the pile. They'll take their time.
Well, and the Redskins just used their second timeout, so they have 1 left. I think one thing about this, we talk about the teams with the best records. Well, if the Giants end up with the best record and the Bears have the same record, the Giants win all the tiebreakers. Now, if we look at the last 5 teams that have been in the Super Bowl, it's been the NFC team with the best record. The NFC team that had the home field throughout. In fact, we see it right here. Last year, of course, it was Chicago, San Francisco, Washington, and San Francisco in '81. I think there's a lot to that. I think the Giants win today, then they have to win 1 more game. Then if they can win 2 of them and have the home field, I think that they can go to the Super Bowl. I really do.
The home field plus that week off when they don't have to play.
Well, I think by winning today, they're going to get that week off. See, they're starting to giggle about it already. There's some good giggles going on over in the sideline there. I think they know they're going to win the division, get it off, and I think one more thought they have to have is home field throughout.
Morris hit right at the line of scrimmage, and the Redskins take their last timeout. Dexter Manley in on the tackle. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. Is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League and the Washington Redskins is prohibited. 3:10 left to play. The Redskins out of timeouts. 3rd down and about 9.
Yeah, you look at Bill Parcells there, and he's a guy that's done an outstanding job with these Giants, and it seems like he's always the coach that's beating the coach that you talk about. You know what I mean? He's the guy. I mean, Joe Gibbs has also done an outstanding job here with the Redskins, but I don't think Parcells has ever really gotten that much recognition.
Well, he keeps saying every time we talk to him, I'm really not sure about my team. I'm not sure how good they are. They're pretty good.
After this, he can be sure tonight.
Sims keeps it. He won't get the first down. He will come away with his life. Curtis Jordan was the first Redskin there.
Now, that's one play. I don't understand that. I mean, you have the game won. Why do that? It's a naked bootleg. But he just fakes here. Now he comes out here with the ball. See, they took advantage of Manley. They got him in there. But I don't want those guys having shots at my quarterback in the open field. I mean, all due respect, I think that was a dumb play.
Again, the Giants, I'm sure, will let the time expire before they try to punt it. And again, I'm sure the Redskins will refuse the penalty. Ricky Sanders back deep, standing at the 10. They'll let the 30-second clock run out. Here's the penalty.
Delay of the game by the offense. Penalty is declined. It's still 4th down.
Used up as much time as they could. They ran the clock down to 2:21.
If I were the Redskins, I'd come on a block now. Why not? I mean, you don't have anything left. Put them all up there. Boom, just blow right on through there.
All 11.
All 11, yeah. Don't worry about anything. Just go after it. Dives, somersaults, everything.
Landetta standing at about it. Here they come. They won't get there. Into the end zone. They'll bring it to the 20. Again, Lasker was the first man down. A 42-yard kick. And they'll bring it out. And the Redskins will start from their own 20.
You know, one thing, either this has been a very clean game the officials are letting them play or a combination of both, but there really hasn't been many penalties today.
Don't you think we see that happen as we get down closer to the playoffs?
I've always said that. It seems like, you know, in the playoffs, you have many less penalties called. On the road to the playoffs, you do. I mean, today we've only had a couple, and some of those were the obvious ones. They just let the clock run out and those types of things.
Redskins send all three wide receivers, Sanders, Monk, Clark, all wide to the right. Schrader back to throw. He goes the other direction. The lateral is back to Bryant. Flag is down. Donnie Warren was the man who caught the pass. Threw it back to Bryant. Hedden was on the stop.
We're just talking about the lack of penalties in this game, and not the roughness type of things weren't there. That's what they got. Andy Hedden grabs a face mask at Kelvin Bryant.
Face mask, number 54 of the defense. First down.
Stops the clock. They'll get off one more play before the 2-minute warning. They move the sticks. First down, Redskins.
The Giants can still go into that prevent again. Bobby Knight can yell, "No, Bill, no!"
Schrader down the sideline, intended Sanders over his head, incomplete. No flags. And now they'll stop it with a 2-minute warning. Perry Williams was the defender. Giants 24, Redskins 14. Tonight on CBS starts with 60 Minutes. Rafsanjani is the Iranian the White House wants to sit down with. A year ago, the last American he sat down with was Diane Sawyer. Then it's Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. Followed by the CBS Sunday movie, Murders in the Rue Morgue, starring George C. Scott. That's all coming up tonight here on CBS. 2nd and 10. Clark is the move man. Schrader out of the pocket, chased by Taylor. Just does barely get rid of it. Taylor is saying, "I had him in my grasp."
Well, he did. Watch him. He's coming from the left side now. He gets May going up the field, gets by Thielman now, and then he sees him there and he said, "Let me get this guy." He grabbed him. He had him by the jersey, but he had him by the left arm jersey, and he threw it with the right arm. He didn't have a guy hanging on him.
That brings up a 3rd down situation. 3rd and 10, 1:49 left to play. Giants 24, Redskins 14. Schrader deep for Clark. He never saw it. Perry Williams back there with him. This guy got some arm. He threw that ball 60 yards in the air.
And Clark ran right through and by the zone.
Coming up next, the NFL Today, the postgame show with scores, highlights, and a complete updated playoff picture. It does get complicated at this time of year.
Brad Benson's going to name his pit bull Dexter. Probably pet him.
He might bite.
It looks like he's already been bit. I'll tell you that. But, you know, if you're an offensive lineman, you don't worry about how you look anyway. You don't worry, how do I look? Is my hair? Now, you got nose, you got stuff hanging off you. It's no big deal.
Schrader gets it to Brown, who can't hang on. Lawrence Taylor. He has been the typical dominating force again today.
And that shows the type of respect that they have for each other. But look at where he's lined up today. 60 times over there on that left side of the Redskin offense. 3 times in the middle, 7 times over there on the right side. That's where he was going to go to work. And this is his day. I'll tell you, that is a pretty good day. That's an active day.
Giants will just run it out now. The Redskins out of timeouts. Giants have all of theirs. They run it down to 1:25. Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, the amazing thing about Lawrence Taylor is he's been doing that with a bad shoulder, too. Now, he's been playing the last month with a bad right shoulder. I think Bill Parcells was trying to give him one more speech.
Notice he does most of his hugging with his left arm and shoulder.
Parcells was giving him the point job.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got the bucket down there to pour on the coach. This is one game they ought to pour it on.
I don't see it.
I think they're going to get it now.
Here it comes.
Hey, you knew that had to come. Watch it. There they go. You see, there's excitement. There's things happen. The coach doesn't know. He's still whoa!
They didn't get him on top of the head. There have been times when it was a lot colder than this.
I think that he's playing the Redskins and beating them in RFK. And to me, this assures him of the division title. I would take it on the head.
I would think so. It might assure him of some individual titles as well. That's not a concern. 24-14. For John Madden and Irv Cross, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C., where the final score was the Giants 24, the Redskins 14. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. Coming up next on the NFL Today, the postgame show with Brent Musburger with scores and highlights from around the league, as well as a complete playoff picture update.
NFL Today.